My voice still hasn't come back from when it was like completely gone. I can't do falsetto or anything. I just can't. My voice is. I literally just have like irreversibly broken my voice from singing along at a Josh Harper gig.
This is staying in.
Cold.
This is the intro
I had
now
a cold,
for the episode.
and then I had a cold, and then I went to a Josh Harper gig, and I was singing along at full blast to every song, and then my voice just never recovered. That was about 2 months ago.
He's just too rock and roll, and you're not rock and roll enough. That's the problem.
No, I'm not. I know I couldn't be a singer or like a West End performer because I could only do one night and then be like, right, that's me done. That's my curtain call. Thanks for singing. Thanks for coming.
For one night and one night only, Matthew Vivian. And on that note...
Speaking of West End shows, though, I went to see Hamilton in the week. Oh, we haven't actually done an intro.
No,
Let's do an intro.
Welcome to episode 8 of the Slated Double Features podcast with your hosts, Joshua Francisco Mitchell, and the... I should have thought of a word before starting this. The extremely horny. That's quite right. The extremely horny Matthew Vivian. Hello, Matt.
Hello.
I've heard that you went to a West End show and tried to use our introduction as a segue into that.
Oh, okay. Yes. Well, I did. I went to see Hamilton with my sister, and it was good. I enjoyed it. I've been a fan of Hamilton ever since 2016, I believe, when I saw Lin-Manuel Miranda go on Carpool Karaoke, and I thought, yo, this low-key kind of slaps. And then I went on... I didn't think like that because that was the year of our Lord 2016, and those words weren't invented yet. But then I went on the internet, and I watched him at the White House when he had first written the very first song from it, and I was like, this is really good. And then I listened to Guns and Ships, I was like, this is really good. And I listened to the whole thing, and then I watched the bootleg, and then I never watched it live until this week. And I finally watched it live, and it was pretty good.
I mean, I don't want to... I don't like using terms like plastic fan, and I don't like gatekeeping communities.
I have watched the bootleg a great many times.
But I've been a fan... No, I've been a fan of Hamilton since the Declaration of Independence of America. So you're a bit late to the game. Again, I don't want to make you feel bad that you weren't there at the start like the real ones were. But I'm glad that you're enjoying it now.
I am enjoying it. I will say, though, right, because big fan, long-time listener, first-time watcher, I've always been too poor to go and actually see it. My sister bought me as Christmas present, going to see it.
Happy
Very nice
Christmas.
of her. Bit of a bitch move, though, because now I have to get her a musical or something just as expensive this year, which I'm not looking forward to because I'm not rich. I've got no money. But anyway... yeah, no, it was good. But I feel like because I've been such a huge fan my whole life, I listened to it loads. I listened to like the best cast, not just the original cast, but a bunch of like the very best performers on YouTube do it. The people I saw, they were a bit of a mixed bag. Like the guy playing Hamilton was not very good. He was like, he had no range. Like, you know how Hamilton like goes through like his whole life. He dies at like the age of either 47 or 49. And he starts off like, meant to be like awkward and that, and just uncomfortable like a teenager, like he is. And then at the end, he's a bit more confident and then more of a broken man, more wise. And like, you know, he goes across that progression. And the actor who played him just played him like a really cool, like, confident
cool as a
guy
cucumber.
He wasn't charismatic at all, though. Like, he was just, cool as a cucumber. And it worked some parts of the second act, but most of it didn't do it for me. Eliza was very timid, very quiet.
But as someone who is cool as a cucumber... It can be quite hard to come across as anything but aloof. Yeah.
No, that's fair enough. Well, King George, hilarious. The guy who was Lafayette and Jefferson was hilarious. I think when it's something like this where almost all the people in the audience know basically all the words. Everyone's a huge fan. Like the stuff that makes you laugh is when you like improvise, not improvise necessarily, but like you add things to your performance. You add little like flourishes and quirky, funny jokes, and that's what they did to make it good. George Washington and like Mulligan just did like impersonations of the original cast. It's like, well, it's not fun, is it? That's a waste of my time. I might as well just watch it on Disney Plus if I want to see.
I haven't seen it. I don't know.
You've never seen Hamilton?
Well, no, the Disney Plus one. I've seen it in the theatre.
I've only seen it once.
But talking about Hamilton cast, are you a fan of Daveed Diggs by any chance?
I am.
You are?
I like him.
Do you listen to his music under the alias of Clipping?
I don't know. Only as under the alias of Sebastian the Crab.
Oh.
In the new Little Mermaid.
Oh, no. So he played the Lafayette role in the
I
original
know.
production.
Yes, I know who he is.
But I'm speaking for the audience. I'm speaking to you conversationally, but this is to fill the audience in. But Clipping, his hip hop alias, very good. Like theatrical, unique, interesting. Listen to it. It's very cool. If you like Hamilton, you may or may not like Clipping because it's nothing like it.
Oh.
It has no bearing on what he did afterwards. So yeah, definitely check out Clipping. Very cool.
That's very cool. What else have you watched in the week?
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. The best
I've
Christmas
never seen
film.
that. Okay, I've never seen it.
Great.
I'll talk about the actual best Christmas
hilarious.
film, which I've seen. Okay. I do like hilarious films and Christmas films.
Chevy Chase. It's the National Lampoon series. Have you seen National
not seen any
Lampoon's
of them, no.
Vacation?
Nope.
You watch them and you're like, wow, these are hilarious. But I feel like I've seen it all before because it was the first one to do it, and everything has stolen since. It's so fast and it's so clever. And Chevy Chase, you hear all these things about
it a
Community.
sort of like airplane type thing?
Yeah, kind of similar, kind of slapsticky bits. What's interesting is everything that happens is because of him being an idiot. So like Vacation, where they want to go to Wally World, this big theme park, it all goes wrong from before they leave the house because he rents the wrong car, which then like spirals down.
Mr. Bean type character.
A Mr. Bean type character, yeah, where his decisions and stupidity create the comedy. It's not just like situational stuff. He is the driving force of stupidity. And it's the same for Christmas Vacation, really. It's just great. It's so good.
Okay, I'll give it a watch.
And a must watch every year.
Well, I mean, I need more Christmas films that are actually good, so I'll give that a watch. I need to give The Holiday a watch as well. Never seen that.
I haven't seen that.
Because I literally the other day, 1st of December it was, I was like, okay, I want to watch a Christmas film. Opened up Netflix, I saw there was a new one come out. I was like, brilliant. Let's give it a watch. Called The Holiday Switch.
Oh,
have you seen that? It came out a few days ago.
Great. No.
So the first few, like little teaser on Netflix, like I saw like 10 seconds of it, was like it's like Egg Helms and the girl from Emma Myers from Wednesday and Raphael from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Ben Affleck's ex-wife. They're like a family and they're all switched bodies and they're basically just in their sentences they're saying stuff like, wow, I'm 17 again. Well, I'm 13 going on 30. Like, oh, this is freaky on Friday. Like they're just saying like that as dialogue. I'm like, oh, this is a very quirky, self-aware film. And so I watched it and that it is nothing like that in any other scene. It was really terrible, but it was also like it didn't offend me that it existed, so I gave it 5 out of 10. But it was like I have a conspiracy theory about it that it wasn't meant to be a Christmas film, and they only became one in reshoots because like there'll be the odd scene that's like ludicrously Christmassy, and then the majority of it is like it doesn't even feel like it takes place in December. Like the daughter is like a footballer, and it's like why would you be doing this in December? Like all her stuff just didn't. This doesn't make sense. And then like there'll be the old Christmas thing throughout, and then it ends on Christmas. And I feel like Netflix was like, this film is terrible and unoriginal. Let's make it a Christmas film so that people will click on it. Yeah. I think that's what it seemed like to me. It might not be, but
I mean,
it was like Christmas had nothing to do with the plot whatsoever. It just was Christmas at the end.
More of a just like a time of year coincidental thing, a bit Die Hard.
Bit of a Die Hard type situation, yeah. Or a Die Hard 2, Die Harder type situation.
The only new Christmas film I've seen advertised.
Or a Lethal Weapon type situation. or a Gremlins type situation.
Is the new Eddie Murphy one, which looks shit. I've only seen like
I don't know
the poster on Disney Plus. That's like Candy Cane Lane or some shit.
Oh, I have heard that. Yeah. I may well watch it. I don't know, but I did watch in the cinema the 20th anniversary re-release of Love Actually.
Love
me and
Actually
Alistair went to watch it, and we were the only males in the audience. We were also probably the most emotionally affected. We were both pretty much in tears. I was just a broken man when I was watching Emma Thompson crying in her room, and then going back to her family as if nothing had happened. The ending made Alistair cry, seeing everyone all happy. It's a perfect film. It's 100% out of 100%. What is it? 10 out of 10, flawless. I don't know how people don't like it. It's brilliant. I love it in every way. What do you think about Love Actually?
Don't like it.
You're an idiot. You're an idiot. Right. There has never been a film so perfectly about love. It's like, it's every type of love. So it's like family love, like father and son. It's got like deceased person love. It's got unrequited love. It's got fairy tale love. It's got everything. And it's so wholesome. It's really funny. It's just, I love every character. I love every storyline. Yeah. It's so Christmassy. It's brilliant in every way. I don't care about your opinion.
I saw it maybe last year.
You're stupid.
I was like, this is so outdated.
What the hell is wrong with you?
The only bit I like is the Keira Knightley bit where she goes, I feel quite pretty. Or I look quite pretty.
Yeah.
That's it. The only thing that kind of keeps it relevant for me is that it's a must-watch film if you're a fan of The Walking Dead, because you miss a lot of context going into the first series without having watched Love Actually before, with it being a direct
why
continuation.
Rick is such a broken man.
Yeah.
And also Phineas and Ferb, because Thomas Brody Sangster and Olivia Olsen, like, they have a romance in this, and then they go on to play Vanessa and Ferb in Phineas and Ferb, and they have a romance in that.
Yeah, so it's kind
the
of
same thing.
That shared universe thing, really.
Yeah.
So I take it all back. It's 10 out of 10.
Star Wars.
It's 5 out of 5.
It's good. It's good. Actually, it's good.
We both went to see Saltburn, didn't we?
We did.
Not together.
We did. That's a shame.
Do you want to explain what happened in it? Give it a little bit of a synopsis. Don't spoil it though yet.
Yeah. Oh boy. The trailer doesn't give you anything. The trailer.
I hate the look of the trailer.
A queer bait film.
Yeah.
And
watched.
It kind of is.
It kind of is. Yeah. But it's not it's not the film I thought it'd be from the trailer.
No,
because I saw the trailer a bunch of times before films, and I thought, like, every time I watched it, I more and more thought, I hate the look of this. This looks terrible. I didn't want to do an episode on it, and then we were like, well, there's nothing else to do. Yeah. Let's just do that.
So Saltburn follows Barry Keoghan, and his first year at Oxford University. One of those guys.
It's Keoghan. I don't know how I think it's Keoghan, because everyone pronounces it. Some people say like Cohen. It's like, well, it's not Cohen. He's not Jewish. He's Irish. But I swear I saw somewhere. Let me see if he's ever said his name out loud.
I think he might.
I'm sure he has
his name out loud
on camera.
But while you're looking at that, so we've got Barry Keoghan, who plays Oliver
I think
Swift.
it's Keoghan personally.
So a man from just outside of Liverpool going to Oxford University, and he doesn't have any friends. He doesn't have any social life. But when he stumbles into Jacob Elordi's Felix, a very tall Greek god of a man, he falls head over heels for him. And their relationship develops through highs and lows as friends, and eventually a family tragedy strikes Oliver Quick. And Jacob Elordi's character Felix invites him to his family house of Saltburn, a huge manor house in the countryside. And Oliver gets swept up in this lifestyle, and a few odd choices later, I think, putting it lightly, it all kind of kicks off.
Sorry, I found out how to pronounce Barry Keoghan. It is Keoghan. I'm just finding out how you pronounce Jacob Elordi. Come on.
Can I sing a song?
I'm watching him teaching Australian slang, and hopefully he's going to say his name.
What's the song?
It is Elordi. He said, "Good day, I'm Jacob Elordi."
What did you think to Saltburn in a non-spoiler fashion?
I actually really enjoyed it, but everyone's very divisive on this film. See, I went with two friends, one of which thought was a little bit worse than I did, and another one thought meh at the time, and then since was like, actually, I thought it was rubbish. And so, I think all of us are in agreement that the problems come from like right near the end.
Yes.
I would say it's a bit of a Power of Dog. What's it called? Power of the Dog type situation where it was a slow burn, and then a lot of stuff happens in the last 15 minutes, and it's like, well, hang on a minute, this was quite interesting. Can we actually explain this a little more and have it padded out a bit more? Because it leaves you being like, whoa, what? What? That came out of nowhere. But I really liked it, and throughout it felt quite long. From start to finish, I was always invested, and I was always enjoying the scenes, and I may have hated some of the characters, but they were always engaging to watch, and I liked it a lot. And I thought stylistically it was nice. Didn't like the 4:3. I thought that was very unnecessary. But the film stock was very nice.
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was gorgeous. I thought it was shot so well. I thought the 4:3 wasn't needed. I thought they were almost cropping off the sides of people and loads of head. It didn't seem like it was framed for 4:3. It just, I don't know. There was times where it was alright. I just thought it was style over substance. But the colour, the film stuff, the colour stuff looked great. Yeah. Oh yeah, and the lighting was gorgeous. But if you're framing for 4:3, a lot of the shots are going to be very edgy anyway.
You can do the composition in that shape really well, but I just don't think they did. I think there was just empty space or cut off space.
Why do you think it was in 4:3?
Pretentious reasons. I don't think there was any. I can't think of a reason she would do it other than because it looks nice. And also, I don't like seeing films in the cinema in 4:3 because most cinema screens are in 2.35 to 1, widescreen. So it's not very big in the screen. We were sat quite near the front, but
yeah, I mean, I love it. I love it, that kind of style. However, I read into the 4:3 and especially the use the film stock and the colours. It's very especially at the start, those montages, the very golden hour. It's kind of like a throwback, a family film.
A lot of it was shot in golden hour, actually. Yeah,
you look back on family footage of a holiday of school.
Yeah,
that old kind of feel, that nostalgia. I think it brings out, especially it's kind of framed in a way of Barry's character talking to the camera, and you're not sure is that an interview? Is he talking to someone about his experience at Saltburn? And you kind of
I was always thinking this is a police interview. That's what I was always that's what it seemed like.
But it's almost like that. It's like he's reminiscing on what happened. You find out who he's telling the story to. So it's with that rose tinted lens and that lovely nostalgic view of everything he went through. And I'm just here for it. You don't get enough of that pretentious art stuff. Unless it's Zack Snyder's Justice League.
I get what you're saying about it being a nostalgic past, looking back family footage thing. The movie's set in 2007. That's the wrong era for that.
I don't think it changes it.
Look. The film I directed, the flashbacks are shot on Super 8 in 4:3 in and that's set in 2017. So yes, I agree. It's something you can just do to make it look different and nice. But yeah. I get that argument, but it's still it's kind of the wrong era for that, though.
That's fair. That's fair enough. I'm just I do get
because I love stuff set around that era, 2006, 2007. When I was a kid, I love
that's when
watching
you peaked,
things from
doesn't
that.
it?
I feel it is where I peaked. It is. It is. And sometimes you just miss the days when David Tennant was the Doctor.
David Cameron was in politics.
David Cameron was in.
Those are the days. They'd never come back.
Then that's been and gone. It's gone. We'll be gone. We'll be gone in a few days though. David Tennant, rest in peace. Or not because of leaks. We'll see. Anyway, really don't want that to happen. Anyway, so I just I like the way that films look back then too. So I kind of wish it was.
Yeah,
I wish it had that style of a
that outdated
2000s film stock rather than a 80s, 70s one. But that's irrelevant. But this is just such a tiny part of the film. It's not worth talking. Who cares? Who cares what it's shot in?
Well, it leads very well into
story.
What? Oh, the story.
Or the character, whatever you want to talk about.
I was going to say it leads very well into the direction. Director of Emerald Fennell, who directed, produced,
Promising Young
Woman. And previously did Promising Young Woman. What did you think to kind of her vibe and in relation to Promising Young Woman?
Yeah, really good. Really good. I love her.
Lovely.
I love her style. Promising Young Woman I really liked, but I liked this more. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's just 2 films so far, 2 for 2, quite frankly, and I'm really looking forward to seeing more from her career. I'll happily see her next film. I think she's done 1 short before these 2 features, and that's it. She's done a lot of acting, obviously.
Oh
She's
man,
a
yeah.
really successful actor. But
And
what do you
talking about
think?
Promising Young Woman, you get a little bit of
Carey Mulligan.
Carey Mulligan in this,
Yeah.
very briefly. It's
Also
nice.
in David Tennant's Doctor Who.
Ah, yeah.
That was 2007.
It's
Blink.
full circle.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I think it's great. I think her direction of the cast is very, very well done. I think she gets some great performances here.
Yeah.
I think
I think everyone
is
absolutely
great.
brilliant.
I was going to say, you've got Barry Keoghan, Jacob Elordi,
Keoghan, yeah.
who I'd never seen
Elordi,
anything
yeah.
before, but I know he's
You've never
Elvis,
seen
isn't he?
seen Jacob Elordi before?
No, never.
You haven't watched enough shit films, mate. Well, have you not watched Euphoria?
No,
It's quite
no,
good.
I'm not a 12-year-old girl.
But no, it's not 12-year-old girls. It's more like teenage girls. But yeah, no, Euphoria is good. The first series better than the second, but the second's still good.
Rosamund Pike,
Rosamund Pike's very good.
great. Richard E. Grant, great.
Oh, I love Richard E. Grant. What a guy.
I know. His best performance is the little iPhone video he did talking about
Yeah.
what was it? The
Being in
Rise
Star
of,
Wars.
Rise of Skywalker.
I love him because he was so genuinely happy about being in a Star Wars film, and it's like, imagine how happy he'd be if he was in a good one.
I know.
Because
I know.
What a terrible film The Rise of Skywalker is, but I'm just glad someone enjoyed the experience of it, because I for one felt like I was being waterboarded when I watched it, but I'm glad he had a good time.
Get me in it. I'll do it. I'll do a video of me crying, saying how much I love it. Get me to star in Star Wars.
I tell you who I thought was really good in the film. The actress playing the sister. I can't remember her name.
Alison Oliver.
That's it. Because I've never seen her in anything before, and I looked her up, and she's barely done anything. But near the end of the
Great.
film, she does like a monologue. It's brilliant. She's incredible. And so, considering everyone else is pretty famous, like, she just slotted right in there with the rest of them.
Yeah. The locations were great. Like, the way Oxford Uni was shot was gorgeous. The way Saltburn was shot. And even the locations that they're using and a lot of the subject matter, it must have been quite hard to, especially towards the start, keep it focused on that relationship between Barry and Jacob, because you could easily get swept away in like these worlds and the gorgeous architecture of these places. But even like I was speaking to someone about it at work today, and they made a great point that even the house tour of Jacob's character taking Barry around, he kind of just brushes past everything, like, oh, there's a green room, there's a blue room, that's where my uncle died, but it's very squarely on him. You're watching him go as you would as Barry, and that's a lot of what you're shown is very much like point of view stuff from him, which makes the ending that little bit more like jarring, disconnecting. But I think we'll get into that more in spoilers.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't carry on that way, but it starts off as a sort of fish out of water. Well, I guess it is like a fish out of water film.
Yeah.
And I felt that as an audience. I mean, like, because I think there's 2 ways of doing a fish out of water film, but they're generally like someone from a different world. Like, let's say Crocodile Dundee. Like, New York is meant to be the familiar one to the audience, and then the main character is the one who's different. Borat, it's the same. Like, whereas this is different. This is like the audience is probably quite similar to Oliver, and go into this world. Like, this is like a completely different side of Britain that I don't have any connection to, and so we sort of experienced it with him, and it seemed like, I mean, I don't know anything about Oxford Uni, but it kind of seemed like it was probably quite accurate to what it's like. I don't know.
Yeah, I've no idea. Never
Same
been.
with like what it's like being a rich person, having all your servants, and what their breakfast is like. It's on the side, but you order eggs. That's probably quite, I don't know. Emerald Fennell probably knows. Have you ever heard her in an interview?
Yeah.
I remember when she got her Oscar. She was the poshest person I've ever heard in my life. And she won Promising Young Woman screenplay, like when they did the Oscars in a train station for some reason, because of less COVID, because train stations are famously free of all diseases. And like I remember she was really, really posh. So
that's why she's only got 1 short to her name. The old cha-ching going on there.
Probably.
Not that it reduces how talented she is and what she does.
Well, anyway, she's, I guess, one of the good ones, because this whole film is about how rich people are the worst people on earth. What did you actually think of the film? I don't think I actually asked what you thought of it.
I really enjoyed the first 2/3. I thought it was really good. When we get into spoilers, we're going to go into the classic segment. If Joshua could sound really clever and change a film through hindsight, not through writing it himself, what would he do? Okay. Because I've got a long conversation about that. Because
I do feel like the third act is the kind of issue with it. But I also feel like I don't know what I'd do differently. I feel like that was the natural way of ending it.
Interesting.
It would just mainly be a bit more padded out, a bit more I think things could have been explained a lot more. We could have seen a lot more of what we didn't see earlier. But I thought, as terms of what the film was about and the idea of the ending, I thought was pretty much what I was expecting.
Yeah,
not expected from the start going into it at all, but sort of midway through when the cracks start to be seen, you start to theorize about what's going on. I felt like it kind of paid off all right.
Well, the only thing I knew about this film going in, the trailer doesn't show you a lot. It shows you lovely visuals. It kind of shows you hints at what lies beneath the surface. But what really made me want to watch this and convince you to watch this was some of the more absurd, shocking moments of the film.
Oh my God, there was a few of them.
Without going into them, unfortunately, they are huge spoilers.
They're more fun if you
can't.
don't know.
You can't be told about them. You just have to experience them. What did you think to these moments?
I loved them. I love it when movies do stuff like that.
Yeah.
That just makes you in the cinema just be like, what the hell am I watching? And you just look at your mates like, why do we pay money to watch this? I loved it. I thought that stuff was great. There was maybe 4 or 5 of those moments, and I saw. So there's someone I follow on Letterboxd who gives 5 stars to every single film ever, and he gave this 1.5 stars. And I was like, wow, what has it done to offend him? And he was like, those gross out moments were just style over substance, or whatever it was. They were just trashy shock value,
shock factor,
and it's but I think they carried a lot of I think they did have a lot of character stuff. They taught us a lot about Oliver as a character.
Yeah.
I think if they weren't there, I would think so differently about him. So I thought every one of them really did impact the film. It wasn't just I don't know, what's a film with shock factor just for the sake of it?
Well, like a trashy B movie you see on Amazon.
Christmas Switch. I'm about to do a little bit of a spoiler. So the parents and the children swap bodies, and so the brother and the sister are in the parents' body, and the mum's friends doesn't think that their marriage is going well. So they're like, "Come on, you need to kiss and show how in love you are." And so the brother and sister kiss in the parents' bodies, and it's this is gross. So that's a gross out movie. It's not very funny. It's not a very funny moment. It's not a very good moment. But that's there just so the audience is this is yucky incest.
And obviously you went to see this with your mum, didn't you?
No, I didn't. I went to see it with your mum.
No, you didn't. Don't be so rude. I think I'd like to talk about the gross out moments a bit more. So I think this is a very good place to go into spoilers, unless you have anything else you'd like to say.
No, it's very hard to talk about. It's just that I would, if you saw the trailer and were turned off by it, I'd say give it a shot, because it's a deceptive trailer. The first half of the movie is deceptive, and that's a really good thing. It's not predictable particularly. I'd recommend it.
I would also recommend
let's go into spoilers.
What was your least favourite? What grossed you out the most out of the gross out moments?
Probably the vampire one.
Bro, exactly the same. I was cringing the whole time. Oliver, you're not down that bad, bro. You don't have to do it.
You know, Twilight, the bit where she gets a paper cut in the Cullens' house, and they're all jumping on her, trying to eat her.
Yeah.
Surely, every time he goes to school, he just leaves the house. He's going to be surrounded by women, and he's going to be wanting to eat them.
Oh,
or do they
stop.
They just don't
So
like that
that's
sort of
what
blood,
you thought
vampires.
of, was Edward Cullen would want to be munching on.
Yeah, I was just like, well, hang about. He would just be sitting next to Bella in biology, and then he'd be like scranning on her, like. But then she gets a little paper cut, and that was very stupid.
Oh God!
Come on, Stephanie Meyer. That was
cringe.
probably explained in the book. That's the sort of thing they'd put into the book.
Oh yeah,
I haven't
yeah.
read the
Menstrual
books.
blood doesn't count as real blood, so it doesn't turn.
I bet
it
that's
on.
in dialogue.
Yeah. So there's that. The one I was told about beforehand was the bath bit.
Well, I saw a review that was like, this film did to bathtubs for me what Call Me By My Name did to peaches. Like, so I knew there was something gross and sexual revolving around a bath, but I thought it would just be when you see he's like spying on Jacob Elordi, but I didn't know it would be worse than that.
I thought it was going to be worse than that. I thought it was going to be like munching on a globule of cum.
Yeah, I
but
thought
it was just
he'd bring his
water.
mouth up and you'd see that. Yeah, I agree. I thought
So
you'd see that.
I thought that was pretty tame. The vampire bit was bad. The grave bit at the end,
That was funny.
that was
yeah.
hot, bro. That was hot.
What else was there? There was, I mean, I guess the very last scene, like the last shot, was like,
The last shot. Oh, that's stunning. I
Yeah.
loved it.
see, I thought that was such a good way that told so much in a very simple way. And
Yeah.
I left and Dan was like, that was so unnecessary. Like, I don't want to see that. And I remember Carl Pilkington once saying, like, if you can't look a knob in the face, there's something wrong with you. And it's true. It was.
There's nothing wrong with
you
the
know,
cock and balls.
I think they look silly, but it wasn't gross. It was just like, it was It was
It was freeing.
It was a strange scene, but it worked really well because it just showed how completely confident he was that this is his house
Yeah.
now. I think it just, without saying a word, it really told so much. And the song choice was perfect, and his dancing was perfect.
I can't believe how much of a horny film it was.
It was, yeah.
He gets with
And the whole family.
cousin in like a weird rapey way, the sister in a weird rapey way, the mum at the end.
Yeah.
Um,
I thought we'd see like, I thought like him and the mum would become a couple like more explicitly,
Yes.
and we'd have like
Yeah.
gross like kissing and stuff.
kissing.
Something that didn't really make sense to me is, so obviously the film starts up 2006, and then they're reading Deathly Hallows, and it's past Christmas, so it's 2007, and then. Which it does make sense. Right, I don't really understand this because I thought this was all take place during summer, like the summer holidays between school years.
Yes.
But then they said it's
That's what I
6
thought it
months.
was.
They said it's been 6 months. I said, well, what?
Oh,
Surely it's
I
been
didn't
a
see that
year.
at all. Oh,
I think surely they've been a year together.
yeah.
But
I thought it was
whatever.
just a summer holiday.
Yeah, I don't. So I don't really get the timing of it. But anyway, and then when it flashes forward, like right near the end, there's like the people working at the cafe are wearing COVID masks, and the fact it's open but they're wearing masks makes me think it's like 2021 or at
Yeah.
least like that early. So why the hell did it take like 14 years for him to do the rest of this? And also he has a different haircut, but he doesn't look that different. And Rosamund Pike looks exactly the same. And it's like I don't think the film needed to take place that.
I don't think so
I don't think the
either.
time jump should have been that big. I think it would have been much more effective if it was like 5 years or
I
something.
think so. 100%.
It doesn't make sense to me why he's all go in like terms of offing this family, and then he just stops for 14 years, and then he decides he's going to go straight back into it again, kill the dad, kill the mum, take the house.
Yeah. So for those mavericks who haven't seen the film but are still listening to the spoilers, the twist at the end is he was never interested in Felix, the friend from university. He was just interested in Saltburn, the estate, and so he goes around killing the family and essentially weaving a web in order to line him up to inherit the house, which he does get at the end, and leads to the murder on the dance floor dance at the end, because he gets the house and gets everything he wants.
Yeah.
But that leads into my issues with the film and how I would change it.
Okay, let's hear this and see if I agree.
So, I believe the fact that he orchestrates meeting the boy in the first place is silly. He shouldn't have punctured the tyre. He shouldn't have pretended not to have any money. That is so not interesting. I think it takes away from his character completely. I think it needs to be at the start very much a relationship with the boy, and that develops as it does. I think that works really well. And then he goes to Saltburn.
Out about the house through.
Then he finds out about it and gets swept up in the lifestyle. And he's like, "Wow, I've never had this. I love the family. I love the way I'm treated. I love the ground."
But he can't love the family because then he would just be happy staying there, surely.
But then you get to the birthday bit. So in the film, Felix takes Oliver to see his parents, who he lied about and said that they were drug addicts, and the fact that his dad supposedly died was the reason that he was invited to Saltburn in the first place. But it's revealed that his parents are both alive and they're ordinary people living in an ordinary house. But because Felix dies, there's no consequence to having this reveal. He doesn't tell anyone, so when Felix dies, it doesn't do anything to the story. It doesn't alter the trajectory at all.
But I think that's why he killed him. No, but I think it does, because I think that's why he killed him, because he would have told people.
And they would have fallen
out and they were going to leave the house.
If he then got to the maze, Felix is like, "No, stay away from me, stay away from me." And Oliver keeps pushing, and Felix says, "If you don't leave me alone, I'm going to tell everyone that you lied. I'm not going to give you the benefit of the doubt anymore." And then
that's pretty much what happened, though.
He doesn't say he's going to tell everyone.
Not explicitly, but he told him, like, you need to leave now.
Oh, 100%. But I feel like if he didn't leave, then you tell him. That's the ultimatum. Then it would be up to Oliver as a character to decide whether he wants to stay with the boy and leave and let him get on and set free what he loves, because it's the relationship with the boy that he loved at the start, not Saltburn, or Saltburn, the house, the estate, the family, the lifestyle. And if he then chose to kill Felix and chose the lifestyle over that, it would then make sense and give him motivation that we as the audience understand for then him to push forward into Saltburn. But the twist at the end that you're told after the fact, it's dissonant and it doesn't make sense because you're never led into that as a character. It's never anything that interests him.
I don't think it's quite as interesting with an ultimatum. I think the point of the film is basically, I guess it's about how rich people don't really. No one can be that wealthy and deserve it. It's all like, so what he's doing in killing everyone to take the land is exactly what their ancestors did, right? They back when it was, I don't know, not caveman time, the past, like whatever, their ancestors were like, killing loads of people, this is our land, and like, I'm in charge, you're gonna build my big house. And then it keeps going, and it started off originally with their ancestors were the best warriors, they killed the right people, they claimed the land, they made everyone do what they told them because they were the most powerful. And so it's sort of, he's doing exactly that, and he is he's just taking it through murder and that. And you're meant to kind of be like, well, hang on a minute, he's the villain, but it's like, well, no, he's doing exactly the same as they did, and I don't think it's as interesting if he ever cared about the guy. I think the whole point is he's going after the stuff. I think the fact that he's using him the whole time is more interesting, but I think they should have. I do think that maybe they should have. He started off using him just to get like clout at uni or something, and then he cared about the place. But I don't think he should have ever cared about Felix, really.
So that's fair. So I would have lent into the romance. I thought that was the most interesting part for me, and that dynamic. And then it would have made that switch a lot harder because he would have had to have chosen the lifestyle over Felix. But if you say you wanted to keep it as this power fantasy, then I would say do it more like the bomb under the table. The shock factor that he's been killing everyone it has no resonance with us because it's just out of nowhere. It isn't set up. It isn't established.
I mean, the second the thing he dies, it's like, well, we know who did it, and we did. Yeah, it did kind of, but it was set up throughout, like that he was a liar for all these different reasons, and I feel like it was subtly set up. I mean, I knew that was going to come,
but that's through weak writing, not strong writing. That's because you are a clever man who can understand how a film is written, not because of the information that the film has given you. That's what I believe. Whereas if you knew at the start that he was like, "Oh, I've been researching Saltburn," or you get some indication.
I think that would have completely ruined it. I think that would have ruined it. I think why it works because the first half you think like this is like a Carrie type situation, right? It's the popular people are becoming friends with the unpopular person to manipulate them just because they're sick and like they're rich people looking down on them. They're like they look down on you, right? And then the twist is that it's the exact opposite and he's using him, and I think that's why that was what's interesting. And I think your suggestions are just making it the same as loads of other films, and I think the fact that they didn't do that is what made it more interesting. But it's quite simple. It reminded me a lot of Last Night in Soho, which I loved how it was just twist, 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 and other people were like, no, that's stupid. It was more interesting before they did all the twists, and it was just what the story we thought it was. And it's like that also would have made a good film, but I just feel like movies have been around for over 100 years, and let's do some different stuff. The plot we thought it was is been done, and I quite like how it was something else. I like a twist. I love M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing. There's a reason why The Sixth Sense is so iconic, because it lays the tracks so that when the twist happens, you're like, "Am I dumb? Because I should have figured that out immediately." That's so clever.
I think The Sixth Sense is like you have a walnut for a brain if you don't get the Sixth Sense
watch
twist from
The
watching
Forest, and you're like, "What is going on?" The Village, yeah. Like, why is it set in modern day? That's a stupid twist. That is just there
disagree.
For shock factor.
I absolutely love the Village. I think it's a great film, but I do think there should have been slightly more suggestions. I think like when the elders are like talking, they should have like slipped into normal dialogue, like even just like the stuff that you don't notice, but on rewatch, they should. Yeah,
it's so scary, alright. This monster's got rears.
But no, it should have just they should have just said like "gunner" or something, or like "shoulda," or like some word which you don't pick up at the time, but on rewatch you're like, "Oh shit, that's really yeah." Yo, Bryce Dallas Howard, my guy.
That would have been so subtle and so good. Wow, you're right.
There should have been like, there should have been a couple more. There's like little tweaks, little like hints, but there should have been a bit more. I think that's an alright twist, but M. Night Shyamalan's twists in general like slightly set up, but not that much. And this, I thought it was set up loads. I thought it was set up the perfect amount where it was like it was still a shock, but it was always there, and I was always picking up on it. And if you didn't, what can I say? Maybe I'm just more intelligent than you. I don't think it was like flawed the ideas like you do, but I think it was just nowhere near.
Oh no, I don't think I don't think the ideas are flawed. I just think
I just think it should have been way more in depth.
Changes. Yeah, I think so.
And we should have seen more about how he did it. I wanted to see like a whole like sort of chapter of the movie of like seeing it again from that point of view. I mean, not as I don't want to be repetitive, like, and it could have been, but like the practicalities of like how I don't even know how Felix was murdered. I don't think you really see. I can't remember.
I think he just spikes it with loads of coke, doesn't he? And then frames the cousin.
Yeah, but then the sister, so she slits her wrists in the bathtub, right? But he must have done that. So how did he get his fingerprints off it and all that sort of thing? Like, and then like, okay, well, he'd have to wash the blood off him because it's blood everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, then the police would find the traces of that. Like, I think it. I wanted to see how he was like a mastermind, and if it was like we saw at the end, like him being a mastermind doing the cleverest things ever, then you'd be like, that's really satisfying. But it wasn't. And the dad, I can't remember how he died, and the mum,
he just died. He died of old age.
Oh, okay. I thought.
I think he just read a newspaper and he's like, "Oh, Richard E. Grant's dead. Looks like I can bang Rosamund Pike."
Let's get back into it. Well, Rosamund Pike. So I can't remember what she's dying of at the end, but I got the impression he was behind it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I wanted to know
something
how
to her.
I wanted to see him murder the family one by one, and also make it so that no one ever suspected him, and to the point where the audience never suspected him. But didn't really. I don't think it should have been Jacob Elordi who died first. Then He should have maybe been one of the last, and then like as his family's dying and he still trusts him, like right near the end we'd see like him start to suspect Oliver, and then Oliver be like, right, it's my time to act murder. But
that's it. You take out the emotional heart that you've been with for an hour and a half when Jacob Elordi dies.
Honestly, I think this would be better as like a mini series. I think there is so much stuff they could have done with that. The final act.
I would love to spend more time in the world. Give me more visuals like that, like gorgeous. Do it, 100%. I think that would brush off all of the issues that we have.
Yeah,
but Saltburn, go and see it. I know it's very hard to watch, but it's gorgeous. The dance at the end is worth the admission alone. And I gave it 3.5 stars.
I gave it 4.5. Now to be honest, it might be 4, but I did really like it, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Emerald Fennel can do next. And I love Spag Bol.
Our pairing this week is another Richard E. Grant caper by the name of Withnail or Withnail.
Yeah, it says Withnail in the film. Yeah,
and I, what's the plot?
The plot is two like alcoholic drug addicts live in a shitty flat in London, and they are both struggling out of work actors, and they decide the best thing for them to do is just to get away from London, have a bit of a short holiday in the countryside. Withnail's got a uncle who's very rich and has property out there, and they're going to go there and just sort of get away from their life for a little bit, and calamity ensues.
It's really good.
It is good. I tell you what, I thought I'd love it more, but I think that's partly because at the end of the day, as much as I love doing this podcast, it's somewhat like homework sometimes, having to watch films, and I wasn't necessarily in the mood for it. I watched half of it on the train on the way back from London, and then I was like, I don't want to watch this, and so I watched some William Hartnell Doctor Who, and then I watched the rest of it this afternoon, and it was good. I liked it, but yeah, I wasn't really in the mood. I thought the characters were great. I loved all the characters. I thought maybe because there is so little plot, there was nothing for me to really keep invested in what was going on. It was more just a sort of hangout movie, which can work. But I think I wanted more like stakes from the plot when there was next to none.
Yeah, it's especially at the start. It's a bit more like a collection of vignettes, more of like a snapshot at of London in the 60s.
I tell you what, if this movie was released as a series of TikToks, probably do quite well.
Wow, if only it was. You're introduced to Richard E. Grant and Paul McGann, also Doctor Who, in this.
It's Doctor Who again.
And you get an introduction to their character, with Richard E. Grant being the... they're both out of work actors, but Richard E. Grant is the more like domineering, always right, very much alcoholic, drug addict, will do anything to stay drunk and high.
Right, enough about yourself, Joshua. Why didn't you talk about Withnail from Withnail and I?
And Paul McGann's a bit of a wet blanket. He really is the audience surrogate. Into their life, their relationship, and more so into Withnail really. But after that, you then spend scenes with their drug dealer. That
I like him. He was a great
see
character.
Once.
You see him at the start, and you see him at the end.
And same with the uncle. That you spend scenes with these characters that then vanish for an amount of time, and they are like looks at different communities, different areas, different like almost stereotypes at the time. And as you said, it's not overly plot driven because you just want to spend time with the characters and see those shenanigans, and I think it's great.
Paul McGann was great. See, I've only ever seen Paul McGann obviously as the Doctor Who, and I saw him in Lesbian Vampire Killers, and he does a lot of narration of stuff, does like nature documentaries and that, but I think that was it. He was great in this. I think he's a really good actor. It's kind of a shame that his career, he's by far mostly known for playing the Doctor in one movie and one 5-minute short, and everyone wishes he played it more because he was so good. But like that's all he's really known for, a failed TV pilot for an American Doctor Who.
And it was quite bad, wasn't it?
I am fond of it.
From what I remember.
I'm fond of it, but that's not to say there aren't a lot of problems.
Yeah, but I think you're fond of everything Doctor Who.
I'm not fond of the Jodie Whittaker era or the Colin Baker era very much.
Right, you're gonna have to talk more about this because I've only seen the first half. I've seen to when they get to the countryside. I've got basically nothing
to say. I thought it was.
What else do they do in the countryside?
They kill a chicken, which I didn't like. That made me sad. I didn't think the chicken deserved to die. They meet some farmers who don't like them very much. All I knew about this movie going in is I saw like from a meme or something that like few seconds at the end when he's like pulled over by the cops and he's like, "We've only had a few ales," and that's all I knew. But yeah, they just sort of vibe, and the uncle comes to he comes into the house when they're asleep, and he scares them, and then he tries to rape, I guess, and Paul McGann. Then they go back to London, and then Paul McGann gets a job as the lead in something, and then Richard E. Grant is still a drug addict and an alcoholic, and he's not got any work lined up, and his life's going to be pretty bad.
Antithesis. Is antithesis?
That means like the opposite man. Like Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton are like the antithesis of each other.
There you go. One thing I did love, you can tell that this is me guessing. I haven't researched, so I'm doing a very big guess here. So if I'm wrong, feel free to let me know personally online, face to face, how wrong I am. But you can tell that this was the era where shot on film was very low budget, and they had to make it work through long takes. And it kind of links very well into Saltburn in that way, in that I find that kind of style of filmmaking very nostalgic.
Yeah.
Where you have to block a scene in a way that you're able to still have a very dynamic conversation and have a lot of levels and interesting dynamic between characters without doing, okay, I'm going to do a wide, a two shot, an over the shoulder, two mids, two closes, because back in the day you couldn't afford to do that on film. It's not like digital where you can shoot whatever you want now. It's, we need to get this in the least amount of footage as humanly possible. And you have to be more interesting and dynamic with it, and I love it. I know.
Well, I've been watching a lot of classic Doctor Who lately, and you can spot the good directors from the bad directors, like for that reason. Like some of them, there'll be really long takes, and the blocking is fantastic, and the camera repositions like 10 times to basically new shots, but seamlessly, and it's so well done. And then others are just horrendous. But that's I saw a video on how I, Claudius was like the best shot TV show ever, because that was like a it's BBC, like in the 80s I want to say, so it was not very high budget, and it was all in like 3-walled sets in a studio, and that was all just a series of long takes, and how like the blocking of that is some of the best it's like you could ever see, and it did look incredible from that. And I've been making a short over the past couple of weeks. It's like a mockumentary about elves who work in the offices and the warehouses in the North Pole. We filmed the second to last day a couple of days ago. And with that, like the last day we had, I think it was 34 shots and some B-roll to do in a few hours. There was 12 pages, I think, something like that. Loads and loads to film. And so, we did loads of scenes like that where it's a wanna, but you change the framing a lot. And it's really difficult, and it's especially when you haven't built the set, like it's just whatever the location has. It's really hard. I think that's a testament to how great the director of this film was, whose name escapes me. Bruce Robinson did a great job of it.
Well done, Bruce.
Well done, Bruce.
Which Richard E. Grant did you prefer between this and Saltburn?
Oh, I loved them both actually. They were both like my favourite character from each film. Because in Saltburn, like, obviously, like, rich and, like, whatever, up himself, but I thought he was really likeable, whereas the rest of the family I couldn't stand. Like, I hated Rosamund Pike, but I thought he was nice. And then Withnail was so funny in this. I liked them both. I'd probably go Withnail.
I think so.
Withnail was in it.
He loves
more.
chewing the scenery, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Richard E. Grant.
Yeah,
He's
which I think
great.
contrasts with Paul McGann really well, who's playing it a lot more straight.
Yeah.
But it felt like it was. They both belonged together in the same film. It wasn't like out of place how they're doing it so differently. But and then like you also have Richard Griffiths who chews the scenery in everything I've ever seen him in, and he was great.
Well, what is the link between this and Saltburn? Why did we pair them together?
Well, because it's about two like ambiguously homosexual sort of young men who have a relationship between both being very poor and from nothing and drug addicts and an incredibly rich, posh lifestyle.
And Richard E. Grant.
And Richard E. Grant's in them both.
Great. What did you think of Withnail and I?
I liked it. I gave it 3.5 stars. It would probably be higher if I was more in the mood to watch it.
Fair. I gave it 4.5. I love it. Great. I've seen it a couple of times before. Yeah, I just think it's so funny and it's so full of character, and really like sums up that really wanky university artist feel.
Yeah.
That you're better than everyone else. You're not part of the machine.
It's like it's like an actor character. I've seen a lot of people like Withnail. I've worked with a lot of people in like who are like him. Even though like that he's very much beggars can't be choosers on the sort of stuff he get hired for. Still like I'm really important, so I must be treated in this way. You do come across some of them as a runner.
I deserve to have all these acting gigs.
Yeah,
but
and I deserved
to have no experience doing it. On to filmmaking lessons.
Oh boy,
what would you take away from these films?
So from Withnail and I, and to a certain extent, what's it called? Saltburn.
Saltburn.
It's shown how you can, with one camera and one setup, cover a scene through blocking, just removing the camera to different positions and having the actors inhabit different spaces throughout, which is very useful when you are shooting something very quickly with very little time, one camera, and you can't be doing like all these different crazy angles. It's something that I think every director needs to learn. I remember at uni lecturers called it like the Spielberg shot, and it's like, well, I'm pretty sure that idea of blocking has long predated Spielberg.
Yeah.
I mean, that's been around from like when cameras first started. They basically the earliest films are basically just like a wide shot, and then the actors move around like it would be a theatre.
Well, it's like that shot from E.T. I'm sure that's the like the one I got shown so much.
I think it was one in Jaws where you got on the boat when they're like on like the little barge when they're first like setting off near the start, and it like the camera goes. It's a 2 shot, and then someone's in the background, and then it becomes like a 3 shot. Then it's like it's a close up and it moves around. He does a lot of that. He's very very good at it, but there are plenty of. It's been around before him.
Yeah, he's okay, isn't he? Spielberg, he's fine.
He's fine, but like, come on.
There's other people.
Cursed double features. I have 2 for each. I would pair Saltburn with A Weekend at Home because it's very similar.
Okay, great. I've never heard of that movie, so I'm just gonna take your word for it.
No, just a general weekend at my house.
Oh, your house?
With my family.
Oh,
yes.
fair enough.
Just the big house.
Yeah.
The money, the big garden with the maze.
Okay.
So that's what I would pair Saltburn with, and the second one would be anything with Barry Keoghan in, because he always plays a broken character from broken home.
Yeah.
That acts in a very similar way to him. So you could
his
easily
accent
pair it
was
with anything else he's in.
He had the most like Irish Northern English accent I've ever heard in my life. He reminded me a lot of his character in Banshees of Inisherin, but
yeah, and his character in The Batman.
Yeah,
as well.
He looked like him when
I can't remember who plays
after the
in that
vampire
one.
scene when he's in the bath. I thought he looked like Joker.
And then he looked at the camera and went, "I'm the Joker, baby."
Yeah. Right. So Saltburn, I've got Paradog, which I talked about already. Saltburn last 10 minutes. We've got through it. And then the other one, I've come up with a hilarious joke, but I can't think of a name. I can't think of a film for it. So shall we just come up with one together? So the hilarious joke will be, they both sound like nicknames for skin conditions. And I just can't think of another film.
Saltburn and Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring.
Withnail and I. And I've got Pearl, because they both have scenes of a character going, "I'm a star!"
That's really good. That's a really good one.
And I've also got the History Boys, because it's Richard Griffiths playing a gay man who likes to molest younger men. He literally plays exactly the same character in that film.
And in Harry Potter as well, exactly the same.
Oh, that is right. Richard Griffiths is 39 in Withnail and I. He looks so old. And because I was
You're
thinking
kidding.
throughout, like, hang on, he looks older than he does in Harry Potter, and that was, like, way later. And I looked up how old he was in Withnail and I. He's 39.
Oh my god.
I know. He's just very grey.
He's just, he's the same age.
And then, yeah, like, the last Harry Potter, he looks the same. And that was in 2010, is the last one he's in. Weird. What's your Withnail and I? But he's dead now. He doesn't look anything like that anymore.
Yeah. Oh, poor guy. So my first Withnail and I would pair with just being at home for the weekend.
Oh, I missed. I was going to do that joke and I forgot to do it. Yeah.
See, it's very similar.
Yeah.
Living in the flat.
That was
in squalor.
I tell you what, that was very relatable to being at uni. I love the design of their flat, where it was like it was a really fancy flat once by the looks of things, like the paintings on the wall, and then it's just turned into a dump.
And then I would pair Withnail and I with Human Traffic. Have you seen that?
No, but you or someone has Ali Keeling has recommended me that film so many times.
That doesn't surprise me.
And I've never seen it.
John Sims?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
the Master from Doctor Who,
Danny
from David Tennant's Doctor Who. Yeah,
exactly right. And it's got Rick Grimes in as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
from Love Actually.
It was between that and Trainspotting, but I feel like Human Traffic is a bit more with the scene, and it's just big drug vibes.
That's fun.
If you want to chill, big drug vibe that doesn't get existential and scary like Trainspotting does, these are your films.
Or just hang out with you.
Oh, you know what I'm like. I'm always on that drug, aren't I?
Yeah. You always buying one. You always go to the shop. You always go into a car park at midnight and buying one or two.
I do. If you see a man wearing sunglasses in a dark car park, he probably sells the drug. So you go up to him and say, "One drug, please, sir." You'll be sorted. Say I sent you.
And you go. Yeah, get one for yourself too.
Yeah, stick it on my tab, like the drug.
That's clever wordplay. Hold up.
Right, we're very tired, and so we're not doing a short this week. And we've also decided that we're going to do little bonus episodes each week. And starting from last week, we are doing Doctor Who December. Ooh.
No. Ooh.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Sorry about that.
I hate the new theme tune when it's got the breathing over it. Someone goes like, it's disgusting. And I don't like how it ends really abruptly. No, not a fan.
But we will record that tomorrow, but it will be up hopefully on Thursday or something like that. Next week is Wonka.
Wonka, oh my god.
And as a hint as to what we're pairing it with, imagine, everyone listening, close your eyes and focus on my voice. Now picture me, if you know what I look like. If you don't, picture Gene Wilder. But not him, because that gives one of the films away. Someone like Gene Wilder walking with a walking stick, and then, bam, forward roll. Does that do anything for you? That's a hint for one of the films.
And the other hint is that it's Tim Burton's 2005 film Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So those are the two films we're doing. I think it'll be an interesting one because
It's
apparently controversially,
that's
that's true. Apparently controversial, but I'm right. I strongly believe that Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is better than Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. So that'll be a fun discussion.
Here we go.
So,
to everyone who messages me saying, I only tune in for Matt's hot takes. They're always wrong.
No, it's not. It's right.
Next week's the one.
To be honest, like I am so right that I can talk about it forever. I will destroy you with fact and logic.
You're the Ben Shapiro of the Wonka universe.
I am. But anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
Have a good sleep.
I will.
And to everyone listening, you have a good sleep.
Good night.
Tonight.
Sleep
Good night,
sweet
everyone.
dreams.
And I'll see you on the next one.